Dragon Spirit. When it comes to shoot-'em-ups on the NES system, most players immediately think of games like Gradius or Life Force, but there was another title that gave players a very different kind of shump experience, Dragon Spirit: The New Legend. Released in North America in 1990, this game was based on Namco's 1987 arcade title, Dragon Spirit, but the NES version went beyond a straight port. Instead, it featured a heavily modified design with new story elements and altered gameplay, making an unusual case of a console adaptation taking creative liberties with its source material. Now at its core, Dragon Spirit is a vertical scrolling shoot-'em-up, but instead of piloting a spaceship, the player controls a dragon, and that sets it apart from its peers immediately and makes me think, get in, because I'm not a fan of these shmup games, but give me a dragon, yes I'm in. The story casts the player as a mole, a warrior who transforms into a blue dragon to defeat an evil serpent demon named Swowl and rescue the Princess Alicia. I'm already in. I want to play this game now. I do have the ability to play it and I probably will. However, the NES version, the story is reimagined into what Namco called the New Legend. Here, the narrative begins with a mole defeating Swowl, Zawel, in the past, which leads to peace across the land. The player now takes control of Amel's son, named Huey, that's a stupid name, who becomes a dragon himself to face a new threat, the evil Golder and his army of monsters. This shift in storyline also came with two different game paths, which was rare for NES shooters. If the player survives the opening sequence of the game, Huey will turn into the dragon and players get to experience the hard version of the game, which is more faithful to the arcade original. But if the player falls and dies early on, a cutscene shows Huey's sister being captured as he transforms into a golden dragon instead. This leads to an easy version of the game with fewer stages and lower difficulty level, probably the one I'll end up doing. It was an innovative way to offer accessibility for players at different skill levels like me, while also tying the mechanic to the game's story. From a gameplay perspective, Dragon Spirit follows traditions of the arcade shoot-'em-up with its own flair. The dragon has two types of attacks, fireballs for enemies in the air and bombs to drop on enemies on the ground. This dual targeting system is similar to Namco's Xevious, and it requires players to pay attention to both enemy types simultaneously. Now as the game progresses, power-ups enhance the dragon's abilities, including wider fire breath, stronger bombs, and even additional dragon heads, allowing the player to shoot multiple streams of fire at once. That just sounds so cool. These upgrades create a satisfying sense of growth, but losing a life strips them away, adding tension to the gameplay. Visually, the game's ambitious. The dragon sprite is large and detailed, and each stage features distinct environments, from volcanic landscapes and icy caverns to sky temples and monster lairs. The bosses are equally imaginative, ranging from giant insects and sea creatures to mythological beasts, not just long dragons what we had in the last game. While the graphics are understandably scaled down from the arcade, the NES port still does a good job capturing the fantasy atmosphere. The challenge level is another aspect worth noting. This game is hard, especially in the harder path. Enemies swarm from all directions and make stages require memorization to survive. The dragon's large hitbox makes dodging even trickier because he's so bloody large, a common criticism among players.